All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Dave. I'm the political refugee floating sort of aimlessly around, trying to find my way via YouTube and other places, and definitely have made some adjustments to what I believe in the last few weeks, notably post election. And I'll continue to expound upon this as I do more videos. So there's a video now. I was going to do a video about this yesterday or whenever I first saw this video. You're not supposed to talk about this video from the state of Georgia. They shut down this election facility and they said there was a water main break, which was proven to be not true. 99% of the media that most people see in this country, unfortunately, is not going to talk about this. And I've already concluded, and by the way, I concluded this prior to the election. There's a pattern that you can clearly see. If a candidate or an idea starts to catch on with the population at large, people are then called all kinds of names. Like if you supported Bernie Sanders, which I didn't really, I toyed with it for about 2 or 3 weeks. Again, I was more into Tulsi Gabbard, but I toyed with it because, hey, Bernie, he's got the momentum. He might actually be able to challenge the status quo. Well, based on what happened in the Democratic primary, you get to the state of Iowa, and all of a sudden this guy, Mayor Pete, is there to play, run interference. It's the best way I can look at it, to slow the Bernie mojo. And it worked. It worked. Bernie won. Didn't he go to New Hampshire and win? I don't remember all the details. And by the way, the current supposed president-elect didn't do so well in New Hampshire. I think got like 8% of the vote. And people were saying that maybe he should pack up and go back to the nursing home. But he didn't. Almost like he knew what the plan was ahead of time. And I know people don't want conspiracy theories because then they immediately come at you. Well, Russiagate you were complaining about Russiagate. Russiagate was a conspiracy theory. It was a hoax, and this is just a hoax. No, this isn't a hoax. And I'll continue to say that until people come to their senses and understand that you need to go to alternative media sources. If I start talking about those sources here, the video might get blocked, censored, banned, whatever, demonetized for sure. So you have to find your own alternative sources. And I would suggest, rather than hanging out on Facebook or Twitter, that you check out places like MeWe, which is an alternative to Facebook, Gab, or Parler, which are alternatives to Twitter. Now, if your fear is that you'll encounter a lot of right-wingers and so forth, I don't know. I've been hanging out with people that like the Constitution, that like the Second Amendment, that like the First Amendment. And yeah, those people tend to be more conservative. Sorry. There are some progressives like the Glenn Greenwalds and the Matt Taibbi's out there who probably disagree with me on a host of issues, but at least understand that free speech needs to be a thing. And gaslighting, which we are in the midst of an incredible gaslighting program right now. If I hear the term baseless one more time, baseless. All right, so let me get to the video because that was supposed to be what my video was supposed to be about. So there's a video and they shut everything down. They tell everybody to go home, water main break, gotta go home. They're doing little housekeeping things for like a half hour. Now, people were saying that this video had been debunked, even though it had never been released. Oh, that's all been debunked. What's been debunked? You hadn't seen it yet, so how could it be debunked if you hadn't seen it? So again, if you hadn't heard about this, there was a table had a black skirt around it. About a half hour after they shut everything down, they had these rolling, very convenient because these are fairly heavy bins. They had these rolling bins, almost like a rolling carry-on bag type of thing. And they rolled, I think, 4 of them out from under there, 4 or 6, I can't remember. There's this woman, she's wearing a purple shirt, I believe, and she seems to be quarterbacking the whole enterprise. So the debunkers have debunked it now after about 12 hours of it being available. By the way, they took these bins and then they started feeding the ballots that were inside them into machines with no oversight. Okay, no supervision, no poll watchers. Okay, all the Republicans had left the building at that time because of the fake water main break. So they did this, and in one instance, it's noted that the woman who's got purple on, I believe her first name is Ruby. I think that's been confirmed. So Ruby was feeding ballots into this machine. She finished, and then she fed the ballots into that same machine again. But this has all been debunked. All right, time to get on the soapbox. So people are concerned about the Georgia runoff election, primary, whatever, for the 2 Senate seats, because they have a runoff. I got to tell you, it doesn't matter who you vote for if the system is this corrupt. For you people in the Republican Party who are like, oh, we got to save the Senate. No, we have to save the country. So you're going to allow these candidates to run again. They sent out like 600,000 absentee ballots. All right. They've already done that. And you've got the corrupt system still in place. And so why should we go and vote for anybody? If you're in Georgia, why should you go vote for anybody? Because you still have the corrupt system. So the debunkers came in and they said, well, those were all legal ballots that they were putting into a machine. Okay, let's accept your ridiculous premise that they were illegal ballots. So why would you do this a half hour after you told everybody to go home? Why would you do that? And why wouldn't you do it in front of people if they're illegal? Why would you have these under a table, mysteriously under a table, and then wheel them out once you knew kind of like the coast was clear? Oh, and why would you feed them into a machine twice? Folks, I ain't buying this crap. I ain't buying this. And if you think this is just sour grapes and just let's move on, then you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The point is we've had a corrupt system for a while. We saw the corrupt system in 2016, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders. Okay. Here's my theory about how Trump won in 2016. They just didn't think he had a chance. They gaslit themselves and said, hey, Hillary, 95% chance she's going to win. This guy, Trump, he's not going to win. And Trump was smart. He went into all these battleground states and held huge rallies, and they couldn't make up the difference. They probably had some stuff ready to go, and they probably dispatched the stuff that they had, but I think they were overwhelmed by the amount of support he got, and they weren't prepared. So in 2020, it's almost like when you know that you're going to do something to really make up for what happened last time, you over prepare, you overcompensate for that. And they had contingency plans in place. And there's no question in my mind that these ballots were corrupt. No question. And there's no, and it's the way they went about doing it. It's not just that, oh, well, even if you were to accept that they're illegal ballots, the spike, and see, this is the other thing. Well, there is no proof. There's no evidence. Okay, well, why was there a blue spike right at the time when this was going on? You could see the blue spike. You could see on bar graphs. I think Dr. Shiva and a few other people have gone out there and they've done all kinds of statistical analysis of these anomalies, and none of them make sense. Biden wins fewer counties than any winner of the presidency ever. He wins fewer counties. I mean, like 200 less counties than Obama won, right? But oh yeah, this is legit. Folks, facts are stubborn things, and math, this is the party that says they believe in science. Well, they don't believe in math. They might believe in some weird science, but they don't believe in math. I still think math has a place in our society. All right. And until we correct this problem, it doesn't matter what you believe about anything. Doesn't matter what you believe about climate change. Doesn't matter what you believe about taxation. Doesn't matter about auditing the Fed. Really? You want to audit the Fed, but you don't want to audit the vote. You don't really care about chain of custody, unless, of course, you're applying for a job, right? And you're really concerned about if you're going to get the job, so they make you give a urine sample, right? This is a fact. That urine sample has a chain of custody because they don't want you tampering with it. They don't want you swapping it out just in case, maybe you're smoking a little wacky tobacco the night before because you want to get the job. That's an important chain of custody. Same thing, if the president is applying for a job, then the chain of custody for those votes probably a little bit more important than the guy who's smoking some weed. Probably a little bit more important, but yet we have completely, and by the way, we've done this for decades. I have a hunch that in 2012, and I don't like Mitt Romney at all, but I have a hunch that Mitt Romney might have won that election in 2012. The votes in Ohio, there were some strange things that went on with that, and nobody really talked about it. They just moved on because Romney is a wuss, and of course, he doesn't care. He's just like Obama. They're about the same person, in theory, about the same belief system, just one pretends to be a conservative and the other one pretends to be a liberal. And there's very little difference between the two people. You like your health care, you can keep your health care, right? Same guy. This is a monumental issue that if we don't fix, none of anything that we do moving forward means anything. And there will be some kind of a backlash, one way or another. Say, there's a 10-20% chance that Trump somehow gets enough of this overturned to at least throw this to the Congress. And there will be a revolt even at that point from people on the neoliberal side of things. And they control the media. They control academia. They control the Pentagon. They control all of your alphabet soup agencies, including the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA, all of it. It's all there. It's like one giant swamp. It's one thing Trump didn't do. I think he thought he could just work with it and just deal with it, and it wasn't going to be all against him because supposedly these people are supposed to be nonpartisan. Yeah, nonpartisan. That's funny. Everything is partisan. And, if your vote isn't sacred, then there's no point. There's just no point in anything. So it has to be corrected. That Georgia runoff election, not going to mean a damn thing. Because they're going to get beat by ballots. They're not going to get beat by votes. They're going to get beat by ballots. Those two Republican candidates down there. Because we got to hold the Senate. Republicans, they got to hold the Senate. They're going to hold the Senate. The same election system, they're going to hold the Senate. Stupidest thing I've ever heard. All right. And there does need to be checks and balances on if, you know, crazy Uncle Joe is allowed to get to the podium and put his hand on a Bible, which is really kind of sick to think about, and say, hey, you know, I'm the president now, and this is what we're going to do. And then the puppet, it's like a puppet show. It's like, do, 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 do. Kamala will be there too. It'll be great. It'll just be like a puppet show. You'll be watching just some of the, I mean, if you didn't like the swamp under Trump, the swamp gets like 10 feet deeper. Remember when Trump said the wall got 10 feet higher? you put this guy in, you install him, because that's the word I've heard. It's a good word because you're installing. You're not electing, you're installing. And again, they talk a lot about Venezuela and these voting machines and so forth. And we're there. We're right there. Anybody criticizing Venezuela for how they vote, America has joined the club. So again, I don't care if you're on the left. I don't care if you're on the right. I don't care if you feel strongly. Issues? Really? You care about issues? You care about starting a new movement, man? You're going to get a new movement going? Oh, man, I'm so cool with this new movement. I'm going to like vote for this third party candidate? What are they doing with third party votes? I heard up in Pennsylvania that they switched a lot of Trump votes to Jorgensen votes. That's a good way to do it. Like the libertarian stronghold of some county up there, like a suburb of Philadelphia. And it's just, they never got any libertarian support up there before, but now 78,000 votes for Jorgensen. No, I wanted to vote for Joe, but I bailed. I could have, and I would have been like, I didn't vote for either one of these people. No, I chickened out and voted for Trump because I see Trump as a true outsider. Definitely with many, many flaws, but oh well, better than just full on globalist takeover, right? That's the way I look at it. Yeah, I'm missing the point because we have 27 trillion in debt. We got homelessness. We got a lot of problems, but you're not even, and this is the thing, all of this we have to be concerned about because we don't have a secure election system. So all of this, all our attention is on it, except if you're CNN and you're talking about the transition, you know, it's just weird. It's like you're living in two different worlds. I think some commentator said that, like, I think it might have been Bill Maher said, all these people over here have just pretended like, oh, this guy's the president. And all these people over here are like, no, we're going to fight on. And I'll tell you, if there was no, honest to goodness, because I'm so tired of politics, even though I'm doing this channel, if there was nothing to see here, I would say we need to move on and we need to start doing something. I don't know what that is at this point because everybody says, oh, we need to start a movement. Americans are too apathetic and lazy, apparently, to start a real movement. We need a patriot party. We need a populist party. We need something that doesn't go all cultural Marxist on everybody. Something that is American, that's quintessentially American, that isn't hard left or hard right. Doesn't mean you're centrist, though, either. Kind of means that you pay attention to the big ticket items on the menu and you don't go off into all these tangents, and you can't go all either too green or too libertarian because most Americans are just populist. That's where most Americans are. Most Americans, I believe, are slightly right of center too. I don't think they're left of center. I think they're more right of center, but they are live and let live people. So there is a streak of libertarianism in there. So there's a lot of different things. I mean, populism and libertarianism are two concepts that libertarians, their heads explode when they hear, I'm a libertarian populist. Well, you can't be, because libertarians are for free markets and shut up. Well, okay, free markets, but Wall Street free markets? um, corporate monopolies, big tech monopolies. Yeah, yeah. And then most people go, no, no, because this is destroying free speech. It's just, I mean, that you can't, no. Gutenberg, what, invented the printing press or something like that? And then freedom of information, that was awesome. And now you do a video like this, and it's like, I'm sorry, you violated community guidelines. These are sensitive topics. You mean these are topics that you don't want people to hear about? You don't want people to even, in a recreational way, just listen to me spout off. You don't even want, because that's encouragement to people, right? And as soon as someone else sees it, oh, there's a guy like me or a woman like me who believes this, who sees this too. You know how that works? Your neighbor sees the same crime that you see. You go, yeah, we got to really crack down on this crime. But you're not allowed to talk about the crime. It's too sensitive. This is getting weird, folks. It's getting weird. A lot of people are running to different platforms. Rumble is an up and coming platform, and it's a good YouTube alternative. And people are making videos over there. They're saying what they want. And I think they're even monetizing videos. I'm going to be looking into that in more detail as the days go on. And then again, sharing information. I gave you a couple of places you can go. Technically, I went back to Twitter, just so you know where I'm at. It's my name backwards, and I'm keeping it that way. Just for, I don't know, just so I can see stuff. Maybe I think I've posted or retweeted a few things. And I'm following mostly people on the right. I mean, I'll follow like a Glenn Greenwald or maybe even Jimmy Dore, somebody like that. But most of this, in my humble opinion, has to do with constitutional issues and voting issues and free speech issues. And it seems the predominant support of those things comes more from the right than the left. Way more, actually. I'm just being honest. And I've tried to be kind of down the middle to some degree, but it's like I got cards and I'm showing my hand. It's like, here's what I got. I got 3 right wingers, 1 left winger, and so it's basically like a full house, but the right wingers, I forgot another card there. So two progressives and 3 right wingers. So that's my full house. All right. And it's just where I'm at. It might change, but it doesn't seem to be changing. I also believe in religious freedom, assembly, freedom of assembly, freedom to worship, those sorts of things. I know there are a lot of people in this country that just say, stay home, watch it on TV. Be more dehumanized. I could do a whole video about this entire year and how it's dehumanized the population and how people are just, they're very anxious and very frustrated that these things continue the way they've been for 9 months. And now we're hearing about spikes in cases, millions of cases. And there are a lot of us that said, this isn't going to end. This might not end. And yeah, I know there's a vaccine coming. What's in it? Tell us what's in it. And what are the side effects? Vaccines typically are tested for years. Okay, as much as some of the things I appreciate about Trump, this was basically what he did with this was basically said, well, I'm going to fix this before the year is out and people are going to love me and they're going to vote for me. That's what that was all about. Not the efficacy, not if this actually is a good thing. I mean, I've heard all kinds of crazy things about this. And there are, actual medical doctors, not conspiracy theorists, who are saying these things. There's so much to deal with right now. But if we don't fix the way we vote, if my sacred vote, which you always, you hear, the vote, just go vote. If you really want to make a change, remember, if you don't like Trump, vote against him. Or if you don't like how your thing is going, vote. But if the vote is not tabulated, or if it's the vote is manipulated, then we don't live in a free country. We don't the whole thing is essentially a joke. You hear Banana Republic all the time. And like I kid around, at least in a Banana Republic, you can bribe somebody. Here it's so systemic that there's nothing you can do other than march, lobby, phone call, go to your state house, go to your wherever, and make your voice heard. Election integrity and reform, unless we do that, then any political channel is really you're blowing off steam. Sure, it's like peeing into the wind. Sorry to use that analogy, but it's not going to make any difference. It's zero. It's and I don't care who you supported. If you really did support Biden, then you know what you should be doing? You know what Joe Biden should be doing right now? If he wants to unite the country, let's get to the bottom of this. If Biden admitted there were some irregularities and there's some weird things, and he said, you know what, to move the country forward in unity, or at least where people aren't waking up going, fake president, because that's going to be next. If he gets in, the fake president, you mean the one that was installed? Yeah. Unless he addresses it, this is his only way out of this, by the way, is if he agrees to a full, complete audit in all of these swing states. And by the way, I would say expand that audit to some places like Minnesota, California. Virginia. I want to know what really happened all across the country. Just saying. I mean, and if it turns out that it's all just like a Russiagate hoax, which it's not, people, it's not. If somebody says that to you, it's because they're intellectually either tired or they're so kind of outside. You know what it is? It's like they don't like Trump anyway, so this doesn't really bother them, and they think the government's just going to be the same. And look, you can make those arguments, and there might be some truth to it. But again, you're still staring at the idea that the election system is broken. So if you really feel strongly about, say, keeping more of your money or having more freedom or your right to bear arms or whatever issue it is that you care about, you're hastening your own demise if you're just going to look the other way, or if you're just going to come up with that they're all bad. We've heard this for decades. Oh, they're just all bad. Okay, the politicians, most of them are all bad, but now our election system is bad, so you need to fix it. Well, it was probably always bad. No, I don't know. Yeah, I know. Kennedy, 1960. Yeah, that was an instance that it in Chicago, anyway, it was bad. However, what is your parents, or what do they used to say? 2 wrongs don't make a right. So does that mean that you don't try to reform it and fix it? Because again, it's like losing confidence in the dollar. It's the same concept. The vote and the dollar right now are rapidly losing confidence, but I'd have to say the vote is losing confidence even more so than the dollar. So the only way to fix it is to fix it. And if we don't, then why just get up in the morning and hope that some bureaucrat, some technocrat doesn't tell you, hey, you can't do that anymore. You have to stop. Hey, you can't go out anymore. Hey, that car that you're driving, yeah. Hey, that gun, bring it over here. And all of your freedoms, all of your rights are going to be eroded. And they're going to condition you to make you think, hey, this is good. This is good. This will be better for everybody. Yeah, how's that worked out in 2020? 9 months of perpetual lockdown, masking, which doesn't work, because if it worked, then we wouldn't be in this situation. It's hard to make a free society comply with things that aren't really human. That's another issue I could go into, but In any event, that's my video. And I know I've been a little bit redundant on this, but there is a video that you can go watch where you can see the corruption now, like right there. Someone tells you it's baseless, 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 false, baseless all day long, no matter what station you tune into. And then, of course, they're disparaging Trump because he's basically trying to tell everybody, hey, this thing was stolen. And I really think it was. And if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. But there appears to be plenty of corruption. And by the way, when the attorney general comes out and says, there's not enough corruption, you're basically saying, well, there is some. And that's why we hire you guys, or you guys have jobs, is so you can go investigate these things. But apparently, nobody wants to investigate, because if they turn up all of this evidence, then the next question is, well, how long has this been going on for? And all of our bureaucrats in these alphabet soup agencies, they're up to their eyeballs at that point in corruption, and they all need to be perp walked right to prison. All right, that's my video.